Why take diet pills when you can enjoy AIDS?
Who's the barefoot stranger?
The morning stream. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen a vegetable do.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for May 13th, 2025. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, my good sir.
Visited by a cat. Let me see if I can pick her up.
Oh, yeah. Get the kitty on. We haven't had a kitty cam in a while. Look at this.
Yay. Visited by the kitty. Hello.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm a big, white, fat kitty.
She doesn't seem to like the lights or the maybe she's just embarrassed about the attention. I don't know. She knows that all these people are looking at her.
There's a squirm that she does when I'm holding her that's not like I'm trying to get down. It's like scratch this part of my neck or this part of my ear or whatever. This I think is just the playful squirm as opposed to the put me down.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Nope.
Beautiful kitty.
That's it. I will put her down.
Continues to be Brian's familiar in all the right ways.
That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
That's great.
She is the companion in both name and action.
That's right. One day she'll stand atop your chest while you sleep and then start speaking and say, Brian, it is time.
The breath out of my body.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Cats do that. At least the movies told me they do.
The movies told you they do that. Yes, Cat's Eye.
Yeah, that movie told us a lot of things that aren't true. Anyway, hey, guys, I got a question for Brian right at the top of the show because I've been in a little bit of a nostalgic mood and I've been watching in the background old G.I. Joe episodes. Mm-hmm. And they're awesome. They're terrible and great. Oh, man, they're good.
Sure.
Because the storylines are just freaking ridiculous. I really do love them. And one of them got me to thinking of a question. And also there was some talk of like a whole bunch of other movie properties that Hasbro was going to do. We talked about this on Film Sack that we expected crossovers.
Hasbro connected universe with ROM, the Space Knight, and Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Micronauts.
Yeah, all that stuff. Silverhawks was on the possible table, although Hasbro doesn't own them, but I've been watching a little bit of Silverhawks. Oh. And anyway, it got me to thinking, what would Brian want in 2025 out of a Micronauts animated series? Let's say Netflix picked something up and even maybe hired the team that did the great He-Man reboot or whatever. There's a few things like this lately.
Kevin Smith, wasn't it?
Oh, that was. You're right. That was Kevin Smith. I forgot.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was like legit. So would you? Obviously, you'd be down because you're a fan. But what do you want out of that?
That's a really good question because the Marvel Comics series in the 80s was great. It was. I can't remember who the writer on it was, but it was Mike Golden did the artwork, and for the most part, they introduced a few new characters, as you would. Obviously, it's not just Commander Ran and Baron Karza and on all that. They had to create like Bug, a character that never had an action figure or never did in the day. Rufus says Jim Shooter was he? I knew he was editor in chief. Was he writing Micronauts?
Jim Shooter.
I don't know if he was a writer.
That name's familiar.
I met Jim Shooter at My Light Comics a couple times.
Old 70s, 80s writer guy?
Yeah. Well, 70s, 80s editor-in-chief. I didn't know.
At Marvel.
He did writing. At Marvel, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's cool.
So what it would have to be, that's a really good question because there are, you look at these things and there's some cheeseball bits to them. Biotron is just this lumbering hulk of a character that really just used to kind of carry other figures around. So it would definitely need some sort of like, kind of 80s Voltron-y kind of tongue-in-cheek homage, kind of thing. Instead of taking itself fully seriously, have it be somewhat of a 70s toy line, 80s toy line cartoon. Yeah, there's Biotron right there.
So Biotron, I'm looking at him here on the screen. He looks, so does he have, Well, I guess we don't know because he's never animated. Does he have a voice? Does he talk in the comics? Is he?
He did. Yeah, he talked in the comics. He was. Here's Biotron right here.
You have that exact action figure that I'm looking at. That's exact one, I think.
I have the Super 8 recreation of it. The actual action figure, and I do have it in a box over there, is like super tall.
Oh, really?
Like that. See that clear thing on his chest?
Yeah.
You would put other action figures inside that. So
oh my gosh, dude.
That's the size exactly. Like he carry other people around.
Wow.
So yeah.
But imagine,
and I have no idea why he has SV on his unit there, by the way. That's a whole.
That is a little weird, isn't it? So
neither of those are the letters in Biotron.
No, it's not even close to Biotron.
Yeah, there's the Marvel. Yeah, there you go. There's the Marvel.
And that's awesome looking. That's badass. Oh
that actually makes it look like, all right, this is a dude in a mech suit, that you can actually get behind, as opposed to the reality of what the toy looked like.
That's so cool.
That's what I'd want. Something along those lines that is it doesn't take itself fully seriously, because it couldn't, and still be legit. But kind of has that Voltron kind of feel to it, I think would be the way you do that.
Yeah, I would be into it too. And right now I'm just in the mood for this stuff. I don't know what's going on with my head, but I'm just loving going back, thinking about what they could do if they really do end up crossing over G.I. Joe and Transformers. That could be actually really fun.
That should be really cool. Yeah, and that dude, the producer that we talked about on Film Sack, wants to do it and is basically trying to write the screenplay to make it work.
You should do it. They should make it happen. Well, anyway.
Rufus T-Cat talks about Rom the Space Knight. So they had the action figure, that came out that looked really cool until you realized he only had like 4 points of articulation. I think his arms bent, but no elbows, and I don't even know if his legs moved at all. He was like super statue-like.
So in the comic, he looked pretty cool, but
it's pretty cool. Yeah,
like that.
There's your.
Almost like a Silver Surfer variant, almost, that guy.
For sure. And Bill Mantlo and Sal Buscema. Sal Buscema's artwork never grabbed me. I loved his Rom the Space Knight artwork was great, but every person that he drew all had the same face, all had the same facial expression. It was always... It was always that same open mouth, like.
It's like the Brian. That's like the Ibit bomb, is what that is.
Like the Ibit bomb is what it is. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. You know what? I know it immediately after you just said it. I know exactly what it looks like.
That's a cool.
Yeah, look at that.
On the Space Knight. See, very cool.
Isn't that cool? It's way better than. I think this is the OG guy right here. Right. This is the.
There's the toy. No elbow movement. Oh, I guess the legs did have some movement, but.
Pretty cheesy.
I'm on my way to get a latte. That's what he looks like he's saying right there.
Pretty cornball. Way cooler in this other iteration, but yeah, I'd be into it. Way
cooler. That's the ROM I'd want in some sort of animated or crossover Transformers thing.
And was ROM the word reference to like random? Or
I guess,
like a ROM on your
read only memory.
Yeah, or that's what I meant. Couldn't think of it. Random access.
Probably.
Yeah, that's interesting. They had crossovers with Space Ghost. They had all these other things. Why is that not a thing again? Let's bring it back.
No kidding. Space Ghost too. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'd be into that. Anyway, I'm in the mood right now.
Did you start watching something new on Netflix? Well, season 2 of a thing that I loved season 1 of, which is a Japanese competition show called The Devil's Plan. Okay. They put a bunch of South Koreans in a house and give them these really elaborate games to play. It's not like, physical. Oh, how long can you keep this Nerf ball in the air? It's like, all right, here's a game where 2 of you are thieves. The other 12 of you are police, and 2 of those police are corrupt and will work with the thieves. And what you have to do is do on this map. And it's almost like these elaborate board game kind of things. And it's really cool. It's really fun. Did I say Japanese? Sorry, South Korean game show called Devil's Plan. Yeah. And the first episode it's like all the people show up in the house and they get you're introduced to all of the players, and it's like, oh, here's a woman who started her own YouTube channel, but she's also a biochemist. And then here's a dude who is a successful rock DJ, but by the way, he also scored the highest possible score in Mensa. Wow. Like it's really. It's great. Like their introductions are really cool. Oh, you're the newscaster from. I recognize you. You're the newscaster. Yes, and also, I went to. I have a law degree from Cornell or something.
Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, they're advanced games, so I guess you want advanced people, right?
You want the smartest people because they immediately start figuring out how to game the system. And talking amongst each other on how to play. But this year they've got, is it Justin Lim? What's the guy's name? Hold on a second. It might have been on that page you were at. He's South Korean, but he's a Hollywood actor. Let's see.
Justin H. Min? Is this the guy?
Justin Min, yes. So he's a contestant on the new season, but he's also, like, him from movies that you've seen. Like, if you scroll up, like he was in Beef. Umbrella
Academy, a whole bunch of stuff.
Umbrella Academy, that's the more recent one. That was like, oh yeah, Umbrella Academy, I know that dude.
He did a voice in that Wolverine podcast, which I really liked. That was awesome, by the way. I don't know if you heard that. Have you heard that?
No.
The Wastelanders thing is so good. Really? I mean, I was obviously brought in by the Wastelander part, but it's all like, kind of old man Logan style stuff. It's real good.
Ooh, love that. Okay.
Yeah, this guy's American, I think. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, American actor. So is he like a brilliant dude or something? Got some kind of whack-a-brain?
He's also brilliant. Went to Cornell. Has some advanced degree. It's just crazy, like... They come in and it's like the first thing they show you is here's what you know them for. Oh, newscaster or YouTube star or DJ. And then they say, and also he has, this amazing, he went to, he's a biochemical engineer from the Korean MIT, basically.
Is it all in Korean or they mix it up?
It's all in Korean, okay. Except for that guy who speaks a little bit of Korean, but mostly speaks English, and everybody else is able to understand. And sometimes they respond in English, and other times they respond in Korean. Yeah. So,
says on his profile, it says he's fluent, but it's curious that he goes back and forth on a show that is essentially Korean.
Yeah, it is for me a total subtitle thing, and it there is a dubs. I haven't listened to the dub to see how it is, but the explanations of these games, it takes them about 8 minutes to explain how the rules of all these games that they're going to play. Well, and this person's going to have this advantage, and then this person is going to have this, and this the random draw will determine who gets this thing and this other thing. It's like, oh my God, I feel like Scott listening to someone explain a big, heavy cardboard game.
Yeah, no kidding. I hate those rules. So, this is is this a reality style competition, or is this
it's reality competition? Okay. Yeah, so 14 players trapped in a house, and I'm still on the first episode, but the first season was really, really good.
There's something about the main screen that looked like it was maybe scripted, or not main screen, the trailer. But I guess that's real people hanging out doing real stuff.
That's real people hanging out doing real stuff, and of course there's some cheeseball guy working behind the scenes who's the controlling all the games, and he's got like this weird mask with LED lights on it and stuff. Is that
so I found the Spanish poster.
That's the guy.
El Plan del Diablo. I love it.
Plan del Diablo.
So this is like, does the screen change if he's mad or happy, or?
I've only seen that screen on his face, so he's not using his LED screen to its fullest capabilities.
Kind of a sucker for the LED mask. I don't know why I like that.
Too.
Something about it. Something like that. Yeah, I'd wear that every Halloween. Well, that's great.
For sure. Anyway, so there you go.
Little Tuesday recommendal for you. Check it out.
Yeah. Quickie recommendal, exactly.
We got a text from Tintin,
Tintin, the comic character from France.
I believe so. Is it France?
Yes,
I think so.
Was it France? I think it was, or Belgium.
I think Belgium. Those Belgians get weird when we prescribe their shit to France, so we have to be careful. Anyway, big cottage cheese from Tintin is what he says.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I'm getting a lot of hood cottage cheese ads inserted into the TMS podcast. It's gotten to the point where I'm being driven insane. What's going on here? I'm tired of big cottage cheese telling me how to run my life, smiley face. Well, here's what I would do. Two things. One, you subscribe to our Patreon, you never get any ads ever again.
Perfect example or a solution.
Yeah, but number two, those ads, I don't handle those. Those are done depending on where you live. So there must be something about where you live that has a big connection to wanting to push the cottage cheese agenda.
Cottage cheese, yeah.
Yeah. Because here locally, like if I'll listen to one of my shows on the public feed, I might hear something for like a local car dealership sometimes. So it's that specific. Sometimes you get national stuff. Most of the time it's like, oh, they live in this region, therefore we'll do a regional whatever. These are all dynamic inserts. So the way you get away from those, just like, let's call it Netflix's free tier versus, they don't really have a free tier. Their ad tier still costs you money, which is lame. So this is not a good comparison. Back when Freecock and Peacock existed, right, before they got rid of the free part, Freecock meant commercials. Peacock meant no. So that's all we're saying. And guess how cheap we are? Bottom of the barrel cheap.
Exactly. Cheaper than all of those other options.
It's like 16 to 18 episodes a month for what? $2 or something?
$2. Yeah. I mean, please feel free to, if you feel that's too cheap, feel free to contribute more. We won't argue. We won't complain.
We have higher levels and we're happy to have you in those. But
and if enough people pay for those higher levels, then guess what? You guys don't have to wait for Nerdtacular to get a Frog Pants All-Stars. You get it as a show.
Exactly. So yeah, forget about cottage cheese forever, and the rest of your life you won't have to deal with it. Jody has questions. Let's find out what those are in this call.
Good morning, gentlemen. Couple things. First, you have to look up The Ballad of Bilbo Baggins by Leonard Nimoy. It is a real thing, and it is out there. Second, Brian, what is with the weird steel spider just randomly hanging out there on 470 between Arvada and Golden? What is up with that? I just can't wrap my brain around that. Love the show, though, guys.
All right, let's get the Bilbo Baggins thing out of the way. That is a very, very old video that I feel like the world has seen, but maybe some people haven't seen it before.
Bilbo Baggins, the youngest hobbit of them all.
Yeah, that's classic.
That whole album of Nimoy's music is great. He, if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. Like he does covers and stuff. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, to the spider thing, I don't know what he's talking about. You have a sculpture?
I don't either. So a giant spider sculpture on C470 between Arvada and Golden is what he said.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me think about 470. Like you can't. 470 stops when you get to Golden. Doesn't continue at Arvada. So I'm trying to think if he means Highway 93. I can't think of any spiders along there. Oh, dude, take a picture or something because I can't visualize what you're talking about.
I did a search for spiders outside of Arvada, and it gave me this.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is it.
Look at that crazy thing. Is that scroll down to that big picture there?
Let's see which one. This one? No. Does that look familiar?
What is that Sydney? Say? Nope.
That's not even here. Or I mean in the States. This one maybe? No, it's Meow Wolf. That doesn't count.
Yep. Nope, that's the one in Santa Fe has that.
So when I do an Arvada search, that's all I get is this either one from Sydney or these other minor ones.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, that's nasty.
Yeah, no, that's disturbing.
I don't like it at all.
Sinewy, no.
Yeah, that's a horror movie waiting to come alive and kill us. I don't like that.
Let's see if Golden, Colorado brings up anything.
Yeah.
No, brings up same.
Let's see, Golden.
For a while, there were some on I-25 north by like Fort Collins, way up north, but those were like, made from construction stuff, construction materials like I-beams and
more like a
stuff
steel
like that.
sculpture of older,
Yeah,
like the hand thing,
like
the gun
found materials kind of stuff.
like that guy, the gun from All Stars.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
Love that stuff.
So no, I don't know. I don't know the spider sculpture of which you speak, but please let us know more, and I'll figure out what you're talking about.
I looked up golden, and I found a spider called the Australian golden orb weaver that I would probably throw against the wall if this was on my hand. I know way I'm holding that.
Yeah.
F that noise. It says it's gentle, but
orb weavers are typically just the ones that make those really cool, intricate webs in your porches and stuff. But I would
don't
not allow that thing to sit in my hand.
I don't like orb weavers.
No, thank you.
Yeah, these are nasty. All right. Sad I went to that image. Ugh. All right.
Yeah.
Another call from Terry Z on how the president works.
Hey, Sword Board of TMS fame. It's Terry Z. Last week you talked about Alcatraz. Well, I was told that WLRN-TV, a public station that serves all of South Florida, including West Palm Beach, on Saturday, May 3rd at 9 p.m. was showing the 1979 Clint Eastwood film Escape from Alcatraz. Minutes later, the president suggested that Alcatraz be reopened as a prison again. If you want to reach the president, just be on TV. After all, at least 23 Fox personalities have been hired to work in the current administration. Worked for them. Love of the show, though.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
There
might be something to it. Might be something to it.
Yeah. I would have, for me, The Rock would get me excited. But
more than Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Sure.
And also, I forgot that. Did he say Clint Eastwood or Sean Connery? He said Clint Eastwood, didn't he?
Did he?
I think so. No, I don't remember. But Sean Connery wasn't in that. Hold on.
He wasn't in Escape from. He was in The Rock, but he wasn't in Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see, is if he'd returned there for a second movie. Yeah, that's a Clint Eastwood deal. That's a film sack movie waiting to be watched. We got
for sure. Oh yeah, Escape from Alcatraz for sure.
Yeah, 1979. Oh man, Don Siegel directed. We got to watch that.
With that horrible looking sculpture that he has to make to put in the bed with like 8 hairs sticking out of it.
Yep. Fred Ward's in that. Oh no, we didn't. We Ambassador Domo. We did not.
Rainbow Bright says we did.
No,
says we did already.
Hold on. I have to prove this out. I can't stand it. Escape from. Holy shit, we did back in 2015?
248. Yeah, episode 248.
I remember nothing.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. How can we be expected to remember that?
How do I remember? How do I not remember a thing about that, though? I don't remember a thing. Oh my gosh, that's nuts. All right. You know what? I should have learned this lesson years ago. I don't know why I keep pretending there's a thing we haven't seen and then being shocked when someone points it out. I should just go, oh, did we see that? Okay, and move on.
For sure.
My Lord. All right.
I love it. Anyway. I was fully with you. I was, I'm kidding.
That just seemed like a thing we had not done. All right. We got a request, or Brian's got a request.
This is a me request. So, Jamie, TMS Mashups, I printed a thing for him, like a little tire rack, a miniature tire rack holder. Long story, but somehow forgot to put all the parts in that he needed. I put all the screws, and you think when I'm counting the screws to put in there, I'd count the pieces that need to be screwed in. So it's missing a couple of these little tiny sticks. Now I can I've printed these here, and I can ship them to Jamie, and it's going to cost me $26. Or if there's somebody out there in Canada who I can pay for the resin and the postage, and I can send them the STL to print these two of these little tiny sticks.
What do the sticks do? Are they just like support a post or something?
These are cross beams for the tire rack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Miniature tire rack. I'm so curious.
Miniature tire rack. Yeah.
It's a little bike, like a little tiny bike or something.
Like car tires. There's some inside joke that he's got with I think his son, and he needed a tire rack printed for that inside joke.
Got it.
And so when I saw him in Vegas, I was like, oh, well, I'm seeing you in Vegas. I'll bring all the parts there. Gave him a nice little padded envelope with what I thought were all the parts. And somehow I did not print enough of these cross beams.
Well, it wasn't like you were busy before TMS Vegas, you know. It's not
It's
like you had
true,
other
yes.
stuff on your mind. But
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that was probably it. So is anyone out there, up there, that wants to help out? Let Brian know. Send us a DM.
DM me on Discord or send an email to coverville@gmail.com or whatever. Let me know, and I'll treat you right for doing this.
Since Shane Maddox just entered the chat, I would like to say something, a story that's about him. All right, this happened.
Okay,
Yes,
right.
2 days ago. Dylan was at the house. We were here for Mother's Day. My daughter's husband, Dylan, father of my little grandbabies. He's awesome.
Yes.
Love Dylan, good guy. For whatever reason, he and Shane have gone through the exact doppelganger process of what they used to look like. They looked identical. That is to say, before they shaved their heads and grew beards. And now, with their heads shaved and beards and glasses on, they're identical now.
Really?
And his dad is named Shane, which is hilarious to me.
Weird. Okay.
So anyway, super, like, you know, and I'll show you one of these images that I sent them. See if I can find it real quick here. There it is. Okay. So I send this to the group. This is a shot of Shane in a suit coat, the concert night of TMS Vegas. Here he is.
Oh, yeah.
Did a little side shot of him. I did this on purpose because I wanted to share it with Dylan. So the family's together. I finally see Dylan and I go, all right, come here for a second. I need you to look at this. And I said, I don't know how you did it, but you were in Las Vegas this week. And I was kidding, of course. Obviously he wasn't in Vegas. He was home. But I showed him this. And for a hot second, he told me he kind of literally questioned his reality. He was like, he goes, that's me. And I go, I know, that's the point, is you guys look alike. And it took him a second to kind of snap out of it and realize that I was just showing him a dude that looks just like Shane. So there you have it.
Do you have a picture of Dylan that we can put up side by side?
I think so. That's what I was just scrolling for. Let's see. It's a lot of kids in here. Kids, babies. This shot doesn't work because he's wearing a hat, but it'll still give you the idea. You'll see enough of it to think, well, if this was Shane in a hat, that could be him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Take that hat off. He's bald under that, shaved, got the same beard. They're doppelgangers. So, Shane, good job.
That's
you did
crazy.
it.
Wow.
You freaked everybody out here on the ground. All right. Enough of that.
It's rare that people's doppelgangers are this closely tied to one another. Usually it's, opposite ends of the globe, but to have both doppelgangers connected to you is crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. And his dad's name Shane just really threw me.
Yeah,
it's like, holy crap! How close can it be?
Adds to the wackiness.
All right, so again to hammer home the point, Canadian 3D resin printer people, contact Brian.
DM me. Yes.
Yeah, slide into his
We'll
DMs.
something out.
Okay,
that's right.
Get in there. All right, that's going to do it for that. Let's get some news done. It's time for the news brought to you by
Film Sack. We may not remember every movie, but we remember G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra. Was it fun? Yeah. Was it great cinema? No. But we had a great time. Check it out where you get your podcasts at filmsack.com.
Very nice. All right, Brian, I don't know if you've heard about this trend, but men are shaving their eyelashes.
No, and that's dumb. Just dumb.
I agree.
Why
it's
would
dumb.
you? Yeah.
I agree.
Come on now.
Brian and I are in full agreement on this.
They serve a purpose.
Yeah, no, they're there to help protect you, keep contaminants and particulates and other illits out of your eyes. Okay, we have them for a reason.
Yeah,
evolutionarily speaking, they came about for a reason, and it's a bummer for those like alopecia folks who can't grow eyelashes. That's actually a problem for them. They got to do way more eye goo. What's it called?
Protection
Drops,
stuff,
all that.
Yeah.
So you want them. But anyway, this is a thing, and we now have an answer as to why this is going on. From stopping dust and grit getting into the eye to prompting your blink reflex. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting, right? Let me think about that. I'm blinking now. Am I reflexing? What am I doing?
Prompting your blink reflex.
I mean, maybe that's because something hits it, and then you blink.
I mean, I guess, yeah, that's exactly. Like, that's probably what it does. Like, if you feel something touching your eyelashes, even if you don't see it, it'll trigger your blink reflex.
Yeah, that must be it. We have right now, so it's finally stopped, but we had 2 days of the windiest spring weather I've ever seen.
We're about to get that here, yeah.
So crazy. And it was warm and nice out, but just blowing. And so our air quality is in the way red right now, not because of pollution. It's from dust, pollen, just shit getting all stirred up in the valley. Anyway, long and the short of it is, I want my eyelashes during these hard times,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it says here, they do more than look pretty, which makes it hard to explain the social media trend of men trimming them down or even entirely shaving them off, their eyelashes in a bid to look more masculine. Look a little more manly,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Bambi has eyelashes, and Bambi's not masculine, so therefore...
Yeah. I mean, if they're way out here, if they're like an inch long, okay, fine. But no one has those.
Nobody has those.
No.
Exactly.
No, they're like Van has beautiful eyelashes, and he better never shave them. They're lovely. But anyway, videos posted on TikTok, Instagram, and X in recent weeks have shown men braving blades very close to their eyes in barbershops from Turkey to New Zealand in a quest for stubby lashes. While some barbers are seen wielding buzzing electric clippers, others are freestyling it with a pair of scissors, hoping for a steady hand.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, that just gives me the chills. Any of that stuff near my eyeball freaks me out. I was really hoping there'd be photos in this.
Yeah, me too. Let's see.
In this article.
Maybe there's a shave eyelashes. Let's see if we can find some. Let's see if we can freak ourselves out even more.
Let's see how masculine the people look with their eyelashes shaved off.
All right, I think I found a YouTube channel that.
Okay.
Some news thing. Let's see what they say here.
Are people shaving off their eyelashes?
Also,
how to apply rouge so it doesn't look like you've been hit in the face. Oh,
man. News anchor makeup is a beast.
Yeah.
All right. Scroll forward here. Let's see. I'm just trying to... Oh, there's a big eyeball.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to where...
Oh, jeez.
He's doing the other one? I don't like it.
Nope.
No, sir, I don't. Not into it. Anyway, there's what doctors are saying. Eyelashes are both vital for both personal experience and eye health, says Vicky Lee. Visual experience. Sorry, not personal. I don't know why I said that. She's a consultant ophthalmic. I'm not saying that right.
Ophthalmic. Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I know ophthalmologist. I'm just trying to put fewer syllables in there. Ophthalmic.
Ophthalmic. Well, it's not bad now that you say it. It sounds like a kind of oil I get at the Olive Garden. Like
Don't touch your eye, Scott.
Yeah. I know. I just did it. It's all out of habit. Shit. Octoplastic surgery at the Imperial College of London in an email interview says, as well as acting as a barrier and a trigger for the protective blink reflex, eyelashes help reduce airflow over the eyes, maintaining moisture, keeping the eyes healthy and comfortable, filtering intense sunlight, reducing glare, and improving visual quality. Bottom line is, do not cut your eyelashes. I don't think they make you look manly. I think they make you look like a dumbass is what they do.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even notice people's eyelashes. So to say that, oh, well, he's way more of a manly man because he doesn't have any is just ridiculous.
Also, so I know we live in a time where at any given moment you can go on your little podcast app and find some hyper toxic masculine podcast of some sort somewhere.
Sure.
And then it's those guys that are going, no, what you need to do is inject some protein right in your butthole and then go shave your eyelashes.
Right.
Like I know that stuff happens. I know that young men are susceptible to this sort of thing and this kind of influence. I get it. But try to avoid that shit. It's not good for you. And not just the eyelashes, but all of it. All right. Don't be toxic and horrible. Be nice and cool.
Exactly.
Let's see. Cutting or trimming eyelashes, by the way, can cause a bunch of discomfort in its own right. Irritation can leave sharp, stubby things.
I was going to say, probably even like lead to infection if you do it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I think mine would curl up a little before they'd grow out. My other hair does that.
Oh yeah. And so it'd be like constantly poking your eyelid. Yeah.
F that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want that. If anyone out there does this and thinks that we're wrong, I'd love to hear your hot take in the a text or a voicemail. So will you let us know if you at home practice eyelash trimming and try to sell me and Brian on why you think it's great?
Exactly. If you're a woman who finds that way more attractive and says, "Oh no, I want my men's eyelids to be clean and smooth and hair-free."
I hadn't even thought of that. Yes. Can we get a woman's let's get a woman's opinion
perspective?
Yeah, from someone who thinks that's cool.
Right.
Because I assume the reason you want to look
I can't
more.
imagine there's anybody in our circle, anyone listening to our voices that would say, "Oh yeah, no, I prefer it. I prefer my men to not have long eyelashes because I want them to look more masculine."
See, and I'll bet you those women A, don't exist, and B, this is the problem. They've been told this exists,
right,
by people who are toxic shitheads. So they've been told, "Hey, if you want a girlfriend, maybe shave your eyelash." Like, the girls don't want this.
Right. Yeah.
Or the men if you're gay.
No, exactly. Right, exactly.
It doesn't matter. In fact, I'll bet if I was gay, I'd like your eyelashes, Brian. I'd be into it if I was gay.
You know what? They're thick and luxurious, and they keep dust out of my eyes, which is also very, very masculine.
Yeah. Well, I think surviving and being healthy is a good masculine trait. So nothing wrong with that.
Yes, exactly. Lack of infections, eye infections, also very very masculine. It turns out.
Also,
why are people so afraid of gay? It feels like every decision made by folks in the White House these days is the fear of gay.
It's all the fear of gay. Them gays.
Fear of gay.
That's what the gays are going to do.
Jeez.
Do you want to
stop being afraid of gay?
Let me ask you this: Do you want a Happy Meal at all?
I mean, I'd like my meal to be happy.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want the thing that comes in a box unless there's some cool Thunderbolts toy in there.
Well, here's the bad news for anyone under the age of 21. Fairfax, is that Colorado or county? Sorry, Fairfax County, Virginia, now has a 21 or older policy if you want to eat inside the McDonald's. So it's like a casino. It's like going to the circuit for lunch.
Eating in a McDonald's.
Yep. Weird, right? So let's find out why they did it.
Yeah.
It's lunchtime. Okay. Says you're hungry, ready for a nice juicy burger. Have you been to McDonald's in a while? You're going to call that a juicy burger?
Even the word burger in that sentence is suspect.
Yeah.
Let alone nice and juicy.
Not correct phrasing at all. But anyway, some hot fries. Sure, they could be hot, I guess. Anyway, you head to a location in Franconia area in Fairfax County, Virginia. That's when you'll notice the doorbell and a sign explaining that they are asking you to ring it before going inside. It's part of a new policy at the location stating that any customer who wants to eat inside must be 21 years or older. Video obtained by News 4 shows a melee inside the location last week. So this is the reason.
Really? And this is why they started this. Okay.
People are fighting. The McDonald's down the street in Thomas Edison High School, workers inside said young people. Us young people.
Those young people. Rabble rousers. Rabble.
Including some from the school, had been seen fighting and standing on tables and heard cursing in the video. Well, the Mayor
McCheese should be putting a stop to this.
Yeah, he should be passing legislation, and then Big Mac Hard Hat Mac or whatever his name is. What's the Big Mac cop guy? Mac. Officer Big Mac. Where's he? What's he doing? Out chasing around the Hamburglar? Gerbil, 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 or whatever you say.
Rabble.
Rabble, yeah.
Hold on, let's see. I'm on the page now, and I'm hoping they're going to show video of the melee, the fracas.
I want to see the fracas. I love a fracas. Hold on.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Is it in there? I want to show it.
So far, I'm 22 seconds in, and they're just showing a map of the. Now there's a guy walking around outside.
Okay.
Dominique Moody walking around outside talking about the McDonald's. He's going to show us the doorbell. So you have to ring, to eat inside the McDonald's. You've got to go through the process of ringing the doorbell.
Oh, they blur it out. Oh, it's because they're minors. That's why.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, but you found the video?
Yeah, it's real short here. Watch this. Man, this player sucks. Built-in
Oh,
players.
geez.
See, look at that. There
You
it
can
is.
see enough of it to see there's some.
I mean, you know, high school kids fighting in it. We used to do this at a D's. We didn't fight, but we'd make a bit of a ruckus while we were in there.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know
But,
about the 21 and older, maybe 18 and older, or just say that, I don't know what you do. What do you do if you're this location and it's a problem? Because because they claim it's repeated incidents of student disruption. What would
Really?
what would you do if you were in charge?
Jeez.
Would you say, I own this location and I'm...
It just feels like such a baby bathwater kind of reaction. I don't know. You know what? I would talk to the school and say, maybe time to enforce a closed campus and not let the kids go across the street to McDonald's for their lunch hour.
There you go. Put it on the school. You know, what's class like? My class is bad over there, or do they have enough extracurricular activities to get their energy out so that they don't come to the freaking thing at lunch and beat the shit out of each other? You know?
Yeah. I mean, BioCal says the doorbell costs less than security. Yeah, but I mean, now how many people are going to be like, let's just go over to the Burger King. I don't want to deal with the hassle of having to ring a doorbell to go and eat inside that McDonald's.
Yeah, and how secure really is it?
Right.
I mean, if they're taking ID, I guess they'd have to take.
Well, I mean, they're probably. Oh, you're wondering, like, do they actually check your ID? I imagine it's just like, you don't look like a high school student. Come on in. I don't think they're actually going to look at somebody's ID and say, you're 21, just barely made the cutoff. Welcome to McDonald's.
Yeah. What can I get you?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Oh, and they were for a while there. They were temporarily closed for that. Completely, and now they're temporary. They say temporarily closed for dine-in service to anyone 21 or of ages or older. So maybe the idea is, for now, you just have a little rule. You see how it goes. You let things calm down.
Right.
Kids get it in their heads that, well, we caused this. I can't get my Big Macs anymore, and then maybe they'll chill and they can open it up again.
I remember there were places in Old Town Arvada, like there was a bookstore that had a sign, no more than 2 students in the bookstore at any given time, and it was probably because there was, a lot of theft and stuff like that. I remember, there was pretty much like, all right, you're a high school student. We've already got 2 of them in here. You got to wait outside until one of them leaves. So, that's something. Maybe you say only 2 high school students at a time in this McDonald's. You got to wait for one of them to leave.
Do you ever have, I guess you were there early in the mornings and stuff, but when you were at Taco Bell, do you ever have a fight break out in the lobby or anything?
Never.
No?
Yeah, never.
I never
Not even
did.
in the parking lot. Yeah.
The places I worked, I never had that either. Never saw this.
No.
We live in these, boring, predominantly white.
Yeah,
boring
exactly.
cities.
I mean, we were right. Maybe if I was in a Taco Bell in Aurora or Commerce City or Brighton or something like that, then then maybe. But not in Arvada, not in.
Did I tell you I watched the guy drop his mega hat into his ketchup once? This is years ago.
Nice.
Were we talking about it on the show? I don't think I brought it up on the show. I watched the guy.
I don't remember you bringing this. I don't remember hearing about it on the show.
I think I was trying to avoid the freak out or just the politics. Yeah. So, and I'll do that again here. We'll avoid the politics of it. This guy's wearing a red mega hat, and for those kids who don't know what mega means, well, you can just go look that up somewhere. But it fell off into his ketchup. and I watched him for.
At least it was red.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But it was on like part of the logo or part of the white text got on there. So he's like scrubbing it off with his the edge of his shirt. It was great. It's good stuff.
Oh, that's great.
It was good stuff.
Nice.
Here's another story for you. This is about betting. So let's get our Vegas hats on for this.
Sure.
Online bettors spent over $40 million gambling on the identity of the next pope. Mitsula may weigh in on this after we've talked about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see. One winner made $52,000 on a long shot. I guess the American Chicago guy was a long shot. Nobody
it was
expected
a super long shot. We even talked about it on the show. You said, there's even an American, but there's, no chance of him becoming the next pope. And less than an hour after I said that, the American became the next pope.
Yeah. He did red, white, and blue smoke that day. America. Anyway, bettors poured more than $40 million into the most recent papal conclave on just 2 prediction market platforms. Over $30 million on Polymarket. Don't know what that is. Sounds like a place to.
I'm a DraftKings guy. DraftKings, FanDuel, for a while I was on a bunch of these just to do that whole, like, if you bet on the same thing and you do this bet over on this one and this other one, then no matter what happens, you're going to win money.
Mm-hmm. Do you know
the hedging deal?
Did you use Kalish? No, sorry,
never heard of either of these, Polymarket or Kalshi.
Kalshi?
Yeah.
I want to go Game of Thrones and say Khaleesi for some reason. But anyway, going into the conclave, the new Pope Leo the 14th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Formerly Cardinal Robert Prevost.
Bob the Pope.
Do you know a Prevost or a Prevost? How do they like to say their name? Not that it matters to him anymore. He's a
Provost, I think is what I've been hearing them say on the news.
Prevost. Okay. Anyway, he had odds of less than 1%, according to the Kalshi's website. Over the 33,000 conclave trades placed on Kalshi, just 416 trades totaling $450,000 were placed on Prevost, said the spokesman. The highest amount on the platform was $52,641 on a $526 bet.
Again, somebody's betting $526 just on the American Pope. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the highest you put down on like craps or anything? Like, what's
any bet? Oh, see, craps is a tough one because I'll always start out with a $10 bet on the pass line, then a number's rolled, then I put another $10 on the odds, and then another number is rolled, and I'll put money on the come bet. So, like, the most I'll have going at any given time, if I follow my regular rules, is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80.
Okay.
I'll have $80 out there at a given time if all the circumstances are correct and I get 3 come bets out with odds.
Yeah.
But as far as like on a bet I've placed online, I know I just do one. Well, Kishu or Kale Chew, Icor, if it's a $5 minimum table, I'll do 2 times odds. I'll do $5 pass line and $10. I'm a cheap bettor, Icor. That's really where I'm at.
You're not just cheap though, because I don't think that's fair. But I think Brian is not cheap. I'm
conservative on my craps.
Yes, yeah. And you think you know the rules. You think ahead. You have strategies. You're not just going in there like some drunk guy going, put down $400. Woo! Come on, exactly. 7 or whatever. You're not that.
Right. No, I'm definitely not that. But as far as like on a DraftKings or FanDuel, the most I've ever put on a single game, maybe $20. Maybe.
Okay.
I can't even think of what that might have been. $10. Okay, a little more common. $5 way more frequently. I'll do $5 on the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, or $5 on the Mammoth to win, or whatever.
This is literally the opposite of a gambling problem.
Yeah, right. You know? It's really that I have a profit problem, because even if I win my gambling bets, it's I'm only winning $2 or $3.
Right.
It's really
right. But you literally the point is you could quit anytime. You're not one of those guys. It's like I have to do it.
As a matter of fact, I mean, the last bet I put on any app was the last Mammoth game, which was in February, I believe, maybe March. Yeah. You
can bet on anything, right? That's the deal in the world. Yeah. There's a bet somewhere. Somebody's taking bets for.
Yes and no. Like, some things where the outcome that kind of surprises me with the conclave, being able to bet on that, because somebody could, if they have inside information, if they're a cardinal and know who's likely to win the vote, not like they're going to say, hold on, let me pull up a FanDuel really quick in the place of bet before we do another vote. Father Guido, Cardinal Guido Sarducci, by the way, is who that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, right now, obviously lots of NBA finals bets, NHL finals bets, baseball is in full swing, so there's all that. There seems like there's always UFC fights you can bet on.
And this is why the conclave's in not secret. I mean, in exclusion, right? They have to give up their phones. Yeah. Nobody has phones in there. You can't. I don't know if that's the only reason, but it's one of the reasons would be you don't want be tempted with corruption.
Sure.
By betting on the fact that you're voting for the guy you're voting for or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's an unusual situation, but there are other times where there are bets on things that somebody with inside information and phone access could get away with, really taking advantage of the situation. I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, it's not like Pete Rose betting on baseball, because he always bet on his team to win. He never bet to lose, where he could throw the game,
right,
kind of thing.
Right. A lot of people argue that's why he was mistreated, because it was
because he bet on his team to win, and it wasn't a situation he could have had any effect on the outcome.
Yeah.
But Pete Rose had other issues.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's not. We're not calling that dude a saint by any stretch.
Yeah, but there are situations where you do kind of have. God, it seems like there's always examples of, like, all right, well, yeah, Super Bowl, or the big game, the championship, NFC AFC championship game. You can bet on what color the Gatorade is going to be that they dump on the coach at the end.
Right.
And somebody easily would have inside information on that because they provide the Gatorade, or they see, these guys just ordered 25 gallons of orange Gatorade from my company. I guess that's what they're going to be using. Great, I've got inside information. Yeah. So, those things that you can bet on. There are people. I guess what was the original question that prompted all this is that there are, you can bet on anything, and it seems like there are certain things that you can bet on that aren't left up to just the skill of the players that you're betting on, and could have turnovers. Like, you can have inside information on that stuff.
Yeah, that world fascinates me as far as how to manage it and maintain it and not have people cheat it, and it's crazy to me.
Right.
Speaking of Guido Sarducci, here he is back in the day, right?
Yep.
Old SNL desk there, and then here he is now. That's him.
Oh, wow.
He was just on Colbert the other day.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that guy. What is the comedian's name? John.
I don't remember.
What is it? Yeah.
I just remember as a kid, I'd see him on SNL and go, "Yeah, take that, church."
Right. There are a series of books called Letters from a Nut that, if you've never read these, I wonder if you can read them online. Mary Martyr. No. Ted L. Nancy. Is that it?
Ted L. Nancy.
Maybe it was a different guy. There was a whoever the guy was that played Guido Sarducci.
I always assumed it was his real name. Shows what I know. I always thought it was real. Not real, but
his name was really Guido Sarducci.
Yeah, I thought I don't know why I thought that. It's obviously not. Like, you hear it now and you just laugh at it, but at the time I was like, hey.
What is the name of the actor? Holy crap. We got to find it here. Don Novello. It took a long time to find Don Novello. So he wrote some books. I guess I was confusing. There was one that he wrote that was similar to this other one called Letters from a Nut. But he wrote these books where he this is like, old punking, folks, like before YouTube and all that stuff. Yeah. He would write these letters to companies and get these hilarious responses, and it was ridiculous stuff like, "I bought a mirror from you guys, and the reflection is not me, it's somebody else, and I don't understand what the deal is." Weird. Yeah, but look for them because they are hilarious. I just can't remember the names of them.
What was his name again when he's not?
Don Novello. I'm looking to see if I can find the names of those books. Oh, here it is. The Laszlo Letters, Novello's first book of stilted letters to celebrities.
That sounds great.
This is actually what got him to be, I'm realizing this now, this is what actually got him to be hired as a writer for SNL in 1977.
Wow. I forgot he wrote for him. I thought he just performed.
The Laszlo Letters. All right, there we go.
Oh, all right. Still out there.
Long way to go for the Laszlo Letters.
Yeah, it was a long way to go. But that's fine because we have a little bit more way to go before we get to our break. We're going to take one of those breaks. We're going to come back with Amy. We're going to talk about books. And it's time to read this, everybody. All right. So come back after the song. Brian, you're going to have to tell us what the song is first.
I'm going to tell you what that song is. It's a band called Hide and Shine. That's not two things that you usually put together. You usually put Hide and Seek and Rise and Shine together, but these guys are mixing it up. It's crazy. They are putting out their second full-length album. It's called The Red Core. Produced by Matt Wallace, who produced the music for Faith No More, Maroon 5, OAR, The Replacements, Train. This new album comes out Friday, June 20th, but this is the first song from the new album. It's called Hemorrhage and Heal. Lots of ands. Hemorrhage and Heal by Hide and Shine. Coming up right now on Indie and the Middle.
My goal in life is to have my own religion.
Now let's put some yo back in Joe.
And we're back. Who was that one more time?
That is the band Hide and Shine from their upcoming album, The Red Core. That's the song Hemorrhage and Heal.
Sounds painful.
Yes, it does.
Sound like it would hurt. All right.
Hemorrhage and Heal.
We're going to get our old pal Amy in here, getting her done. Hold on here. Red Fraggle. There we go. Okay, we're adding her now. And we're going to talk about reading stuff. It's good to be educated. It's good to read. It's good to be entertained. All those things are important.
Very much so.
And somewhere is her thing. Here it is.
One of the things that I enjoy also is reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us now in welcoming Amy to the program. Hello, Amy Robinson. How the heck are you?
Oh, hello, friends.
Hello.
How are you?
You sound so much
How are
better.
you? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, I would say, based on your normal scale, I think I'm probably about 65 to 70%.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So, yeah, like not great, but I'm on the upswing. It's definitely better than, last Sunday when I had to go to the ER because I was having it was chest pain, but it was just because the COVID was making me cough so much and it caused pleurisy, which is basically inflammation of the insides of your lungs. But yeah, that was not the most fun way to spend a Sunday, but very glad of all the outcome of everything.
Sure. But you and Chuck, man, I just felt like you guys got the brunt of it,
You really
We did, man. We just got hammered with it. It was it's like you said, I think I showed up with a sinus infection because literally all I had was a little bit of a scratchy throat and some low energy, but I was like, I'm okay. And then, so I came with that and left with COVID, which no, thank you. I will not be doing that again.
No.
Yeah.
No, let's not take anything home from Vegas. Let's leave it all there.
Yeah.
No.
By the way,
in fact, the ER doc made that joke. He's like, "So, what happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas, huh?" And I was like, "Yep, that's true."
What were you gonna say, Brian?
Gotta appreciate the shirt you're wearing, Amy. I know Chuck, when we started the show today, said, "Hey, I have that shirt," and then immediately said, "I'm gonna put it on Amy."
Look at this.
Yes,
Twinners.
it was true.
It was your idea, actually.
Well, yeah. So what he did was he came in and he said, make sure during your segment to mention to Brian that when we're out someplace together, at Nerdtacular or whatever, if he's going to bring that shirt, let me know so that I can bring mine. And I said, well, I'll do you one better. I'll just put yours on. How about that?
Yeah,
Nice.
That's awesome.
This is one of my favorite shirts, so there's a very good chance at some event that Chuck and I are going to be wearing the same shirt.
Nice.
Yep. It's a great shirt. I actually have some of my Roosevelt shirts also, but they're minor different ones. We have different ones.
Well,
did you ever end up getting the Fraggle Rock one that had?
No, I'm so mad.
It sold out so quick.
It was they didn't make any XL women's at all. I'm convinced because we were there with our finger on the refresh button, and Chuck was able to get his no problem. And then, but women's size XL, nope. None for you. It was they had smalls and mediums, and that was it. And I'm convinced that they didn't. Chuck says no, that they probably just sold out that quickly. But I say nay, they didn't bother. And the reason I say that is because the ones that I have gotten after that, I haven't had a problem. When because I emailed them and I said, hey, this is a little disappointing. I really wanted to send you guys $80 for a shirt and I couldn't because you didn't make any. And, and so then after that, the next time they had one, I think it was the recent ones from Cartoon Network. Like I got the Dexter's Lab one,
Nice,
and
nice.
because oh my gosh, I love Dexter's Lab. Dexter's Lab was actually like one of the first things that was an indicator that I kind of wanted to be a voice actor, because we were at a D&D game, and at some point like Dexter's Lab came up in the conversation, and there was this episode. It's actually timely because talking about me being sick and stuff. So there's an episode where Dee Dee is sick, right? And Dexter's mom is like trying to get him to go in there and like read her a story or something. And he says, "Oh, I am not going anywhere near that germ-infested sack of cooties." And I did that. Hopefully I didn't peek too much. I tried to lean away from
No,
my
you did
mic,
good.
but-
You did good.
Well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that. Pardon me. That was not a good idea,
No,
Amy.
it turns out.
Dumb. But anyway, I did that at the game, and like a whole bunch of my friends were like, "Holy crap!" Like that was really good.
You need to do that for a living. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and I was like, I should do that for a living. So anyway, but yeah, so I got the Dexter's Lab shirt, and like you can go on there, and there are still women's XL size Dexter's Lab shirts, but the Fraggle Rock ones, nope, they only had like
Them
2.
limited production line. Yeah. Oh,
So I'm waiting. Hopefully, like the men bought enough of the Fraggle Rock one that
to make
they
it
will
come back around.
make it come back around.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to get it. But
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if anybody should have one, it feels like it should be you, right? Like it
right?
absolutely should be you.
yeah, you're too big of
Yeah.
a fan girl not to have that stuff in your life.
Right.
I know, right? I was like, and I even when I wrote to them from my Red Fraggle email address. I was like, ahem.
Yeah, look at
Excuse
this.
me.
Good. Yes.
See my email here?
See who sent this? Yeah.
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 Well, that's awesome. I love it. And I also love your shirts
So-
today. You guys are great twinners. I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Everybody say hi to Mama Fraggle. I know she was listening.
Oh, your mom is
Hi,
listening?
Mama Fraggle.
Hello,
My
Mama
mom's
Fraggle.
listening.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Happy belated Mother's Day to your mom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's get to these books. Our recommendations today. Oh, before we do, real quick, I know I think I mentioned this to Brian, but my nephew, or my nephew, I think of him as a nephew. That's how close we are. But this kid who used to be in a class I used to teach, his name is Ethan White. He just published his own book. He's a senior in high school, lives in Pennsylvania now. They moved there a few years ago. And it's called Susquehannock.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got
Wow.
this crazy,
Yesterday.
freaky
Easy for you
bird.
to say.
I know, right? I think it's, kind of like his foray into horror noveling is funny because his actual personality is kind of far from this, but I guess it kind of makes sense. We all have a little demon in us or whatever. Anyway, I really love this kid and I'm stoked for him. I don't know where this is going to end up. I'll make sure to let people know, but I figured read this was a good place to talk about it. More on this soon, so you can maybe help support this kid.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
going to go to college soon.
And that segues well into mentioning. I have to turn the sound off in between you calling me and
Sure.
the end of the last segment. But Hootie 42
Hootie.
and
Hootie.
his lovely bride, they have a bookshop
Yep.
out there in Utah,
Yeah.
and they are now sponsoring this segment. And it's called the Pumpkin Cottage, I believe. And so from now on, all of the links that are going to be on the Quick TMS LI will go to bookshop.org for the Pumpkin Cottage. And so that's like bookshop.org is a site where independent bookstores can go, and then you can basically buy the book from them instead of like buying it from Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whoever. And so you can still purchase a book online, but be benefiting an independent bookstore. And so of course we're very happy for Hootie
For sure.
to have that benefit. So the Pumpkin Cottage is sponsoring this segment from now on. So
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been in that store. It's rad. So if you're ever in Springville, Utah, you need to go in there.
It is.
But if you
It
don't,
is.
if you can't go in there, they do this online stuff. I love that they're going to tie it to this segment. It's a perfect marriage.
It makes the most sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
hopefully next year there's a weekend or a week where he's going to get a ton of brand new visitors from around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Think
We
of
should
that.
all like. It would be really funny because I have also been in there. It's a tiny little bookshop.
He's going to have
but
to have the
it's
sign that says no more
great.
than 2 tadpoolers in here at a
Yeah.
time.
We're all
Yeah,
gonna
like
fight.
there's gonna be we're gonna have to queue outside, like
Yes,
or something.
exactly.
You know, like I think there are like nail salons in the same building or something. So maybe like a bunch of us can go get like a mani pedi and then go book shopping afterwards or
No,
something.
it's true.
Like
They
that.
have that whole entire part of that building, if I remember the way Hootie explained it to me and his wife explained it, but they're all women-owned businesses. And
yes.
really, really cool. I guess the person, the woman that owns the real estate and is like subbing out all these leases is super into this idea of we want this like female headed, all of it. Whatever these businesses are, doesn't matter. We just want women in charge. And that's why Hootie is like very much a secondary owner here because he's a dude.
If I can get my eyelashes shaved off in one of those places, then I can do
Whoa.
that while we're waiting to
That
get
is
into
horrific, and I don't understand why anybody wants to do it. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
my dad had like ingrown eyelashes, and he had to have had them like cauterized or something like that. But it wasn't something he wanted to do. It was just like it was necessary because he was getting an ingrown eyelash.
Yeah.
So
and I think if you cut them, you have a higher chance of making those be ingrown problems. So don't trim them.
Right.
Exactly.
Weirdos.
Yeah.
Weirdos.
I mean, any woman who has, shaved things and gotten ingrown hairs in like armpits or other places that are unpleasant to have ingrown hairs can tell you it's not something you want. So
I believe
don't do that.
I believe you're referring to the crotch. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, indeed.
Well, let's get to these books here. You've got a couple of them. We got one labeled 1 and one labeled 2. How do you want to talk about these? What do we got here?
So this is an interesting pair of books today. I often will bring 2 books, but they're usually kind of a bit of column A and a bit of column B. This time, these books are completely related to each other. And in fact, they are by the same author. It's just 2 different parts of her journey, and it is nonfiction. It's a memoir. So let's go ahead and just start with number 1.
It began with an itch, not a metaphorical itch to travel the world or some quarter-life crisis, but a literal, physical itch. A maddening claw-at-your-skin, keep-you-up-at-night itch that surfaced during my senior year of college, first on the tops of my feet and then moving up my calves and thighs. I tried to resist scratching, but the itch was relentless, spreading across the surface of my skin like 1,000 invisible mosquito bites. Without realizing what I was doing, my hand began meandering down my legs, my nails raking my jeans in search of relief, before burrowing under the hem to sink directly into flesh. A scree of oozing nicks, thick scabs, and fresh scars soon marred my legs, as if they had been beaten with rose thistles, bloody harbingers of a mounting struggle taking place inside of me.
Ugh, I feel I need some cream or something after that.
No kidding.
Dang, dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it turned out she needed a whole lot more than cream. So this is from a book called Between Two Kingdoms by Suleika Jouad. And I first learned about her when we were out in Utah. We were at the NCECA pottery conference. We talked about this last month when I was on. And she gave a keynote speech. And she has been through just a remarkable amount of struggle. This woman she found out, in her early 20s that she had leukemia. And so the book it's partially about, her experience with like, this is how it started and this is how we figured out that this is what I had and all that, all just the logistics of the story.
Yeah.
But then also it talks about her sort of going from being this, young adult who had her entire life ahead of her and was like, I'm going to go get myself an apartment in Paris, and I'm going to, I've got my own place, and I'm working and I'm doing it, and I'm got my own thing. And then all of a sudden she's deathly ill, and she's moved back in with her parents, and she's, when she's not in the hospital, which is a lot of the time. And the form of leukemia that they had was like, it just completely insidious. It was really, really aggressive. They gave her, I think, something like a 30% survival rate. So yeah. And at one point she does go into remission, and then she sort of goes, okay, well, what now? Like,
Yeah.
I was just getting started with my life, and then it derailed. And now I've got to put myself back in the world of, well people, quote unquote. So thus the title Between Two Kingdoms, right? It's about sort of how do you exist between these two worlds of, the chronically or critically ill versus, the healthy, normal people just going about their lives. Right.
Right.
Which is a really, really interesting view on it. And you can kind of hear in the audio clips that I provided her. That is actually her, by the way. It's not a narrator.
Oh.
That is her
that's
reading.
cool.
I was
the book.
curious
Yeah.
about that. She
Love that.
sounded great. Like she's done that before. It was really good.
Yeah. Her cadence, however, is very slow, and it is her voice is lovely. I was actually, because we got to hear her speak before I even knew about her books. So I was extremely excited when I found out, like, oh, cool, she narrated the book too. However, if you're prone to being a little too relaxed if you're listening to an audiobook and potentially falling asleep, I would recommend taking this book on the page rather than that. Not because her voice is unpleasant, but quite the opposite. Like, she's so soothing, even when she's talking about, like, oozing scabs. It's,
It's like a little too pleasant. They're going to put you right to sleep. Nothing wrong with that, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you can hear, like, her cadence is very, very slow. She's very measured in the way that she speaks, but her prose is lovely. Like, she manages to paint a picture extremely well with very few words. She does not waste any words. I'll put it that way. So that's the first book, is called Between Two Kingdoms.
Right.
So,
Nice.
So now we can go into the second one, and you'll recognize the voice because it's the same author.
Here we go.
I had spent the better part of a year in and out of the hospital. My immune system was non-existent. Whenever I stepped out the door, I had to wear gloves and a mask. My doctors warned me that something as basic as a cold could be lethal. Being confined to a hospital bed, unable to do anything unassisted, even things as basic as taking a shower, sent me into a deep depression. I was unrecognizable to myself. I felt like my life was over before it had even begun. What pulled me out of that despair was a 100-day project in which you perform one creative act daily for 100 days. A sketch, a poem, a photograph, whatever medium calls to you. The point of the project is to use discipline as a vehicle for creative inspiration. It's easy to be energized when you're in the grip of a big idea. But what do you do when you don't have anything to work with?
That's relatable, man. That right there.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And thus why I brought her stories to us. Of course, it's all something, like, we can all relate to. We've all had someone in our lives who has been through some horrible illness or something like that. So we can all relate to that part of it. But what I found particularly moving and affecting about her story was how it related to art and creativity, and how those have been used as a vehicle for her to essentially keep going. In the speech that she gave at NCECA, she actually talked about, so this all happens, this is her second round. So spoiler alert, the cancer comes back, unfortunately. So, that the second bout is her, in and out of the hospital, all, prepping for bone marrow transplant, stuff like that. Which, if you don't know anything about bone marrow transplants, it's really, really unpleasant. Both for the donor and the recipient.
I've done the
it's
donor.
really, really
I've done the
hard.
donor thing. It was miserable, and I hated it. And all I could think of was, this is supposed to be like 10% of how it is for those receiving. Like,
right.
What an awful.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful. In fact, I went to high school with a kid who had leukemia, and it was tragic because he passed away the night before graduation. So we had a headmaster's brunch. It was like this, traditional thing at my school where, all the seniors got together and went to the headmaster's house for brunch or whatever. And I get there and everybody is super sad. And I was like, why is everybody so sad? And they said, oh, Kirk died last night. And I was like, oh my God.
Jeez, yeah.
And we'd had a bone marrow drive at school for him, because even his mom, there's like 6 criteria to match for a bone marrow transplant. And like, even his mom only matched him like 3 of the categories. So it was like, we were like trying really hard to find him a better match. Unfortunately, none of us did. So they went with his mom, and it didn't work. But anyway, all of that is to say, we can all imagine how it must feel to just be so ill, or to be related to someone who is just so ill. We've all it's touched all of us, right? Whether it's be it cancer or anything else. However, in this instance, I found it was really fascinating that her response to what was happening to her was, okay, well, let's dive into this creativity project just so we have something else to focus on, right? And her first, sorry, I just distracting bunch of freaks. Thank you, Talia. That was a very sweet thing you said. But I am now minimizing the chat so that I will not be distracted anymore.
That's what you have to do. You got to do it.
They'll do that. They will do that to you every chance they get.
It just threw me because it was such a nice thing to say. But anyway, so, she started off, but her first love, creative wise, was journaling. And so she actually, after her first round with leukemia, she started doing this weekly article, a weekly column in the New York Times. And she talked about that at NCECA. Also, she talked about how they reached out to her asking her to, just write a piece, write an essay. And she just very brazenly said, I'm not interested in writing an essay. If you want me, I will do a weekly piece. I will do a weekly column. And she was just amazed at how brazen that was. And the New York Times came back and said, done. Yes, absolutely. And so she was she was like, before I had leukemia, I would never have done that. I would never have been so presumptuous. But something about, being on the precipice of death just gave her that, like, well, I don't give an F. Like, you can take this offer or leave it. It's no skin off my nose because, I'm dealing with life or death stuff.
Sure.
Right.
So anyway, so her first love was in writing and journaling. And so when it came up that, she was relapsing, she said, okay, well, you know what? I got through it last time by writing my way through it. I will write my way through it again. And then the particular cocktail of drugs that they had to use the next time around for the chemo messed with her sight. And she physically could not see. She couldn't see well enough to write or to blog or do anything, as far as the written word was concerned. So that was devastating to her. She was like, well, crap, what am I going to do now? She could see well enough to where, she could make out colors and whatnot, but she certainly couldn't read, write, or anything like that. And so she turned instead to watercolors. And another side effect of the meds she was on was it was giving her these just horrible, vivid, surreal dreams. And, so she'd wake up and just need to download and process it. But of course, she doesn't have a journal anymore. So instead, she grabbed her watercolors and she would just paint what she saw in her dreams. And they started hanging them up in her hospital room and stuff. And she said that the nurses and whatnot, they would actually tell her that they'd spend a little bit longer in her room because they were so fascinated to see, oh, well, what did we dream about last night? Mm-hmm. And so it just really spoke to me, and I found it very moving that she was able to go through this horrible experience that nobody wants to go through, right? And nobody would judge her harshly if she wanted to just lay in bed and do as little as possible, right? Like nobody would judge anybody harshly for that. Going through 2 rounds of leukemia. But instead she found it more healing and more therapeutic to dive into creativity. And I think that really speaks to the importance of having something like that, having something that we find beauty and joy in, making or creating in some kind of way. And it can, help us through while our body is physically healing. Obviously, we all know that stuff like that is good for our mental health. In this case, she did that 100-day project with her parents. And so her dad wrote, like stories from his childhood. And interestingly enough, they were from Tunisia. And the thing was a 100-day project, right? And so, but he insisted as a nod to the Arabian Nights in writing 101 instead.
Nice.
Which I thought was great. And then her mom made, every day she would paint a ceramic tile. And then when she was finished, she mounted them all into like the shape of a shield and then hung it over Suleika's bed as that. Like kind of like a protective talisman kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, just them all kind of collectively agreeing like, we're going to do this 100-day project in whatever, and it didn't matter whatever medium, whatever form it took, didn't matter. Mm-hmm. They just jumped in and decided we're going to do this together. And so creativity and art was a way for them to, connect, find human connection as well. So I don't know. It was all very powerful stuff to me anyway.
Very cool.
So I thought I'd share.
No, that's very cool. Well, tell people the 2 titles again so we send them in the right direction. And
yes.
Yeah.
So the first book is called Between Two Kingdoms. And the second book is called The Book of Alchemy, both written by Suleika Jouad. I should also mention that the Book of Alchemy also, it goes into more of like the journaling side of things. And there are several essays by other writers as well. Like there's a lot of other writers who contributed to this. So it's not just more of Suleika's story. It's a lot of contributors who put their 2 cents in.
Well, I put in let's see, I'm not sure which one works better, the case sensitive one or not, but I put in the link that Hootie gave us earlier, and
cool.
That should help us there in the chat. But also, cricktms.li will have ways for you to go straight to the Pumpkin Cottage and get yourself some damn books. All right, everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Support those guys. They're great. Well, there you go. Amy, always good having you on. Is there anything else you want to mention before we send you on your way?
Yeah, I'll shout out to my bestie Stephanie Innapets. I sent you some pictures. I wanted to share. These are fun.
Look at this. Look at these two mermaid ladies.
We both brought our mermaid tails, and we had a ball in the pool. That was so fun.
My favorite is Stephanie basically playing dead over like a dead fish in that first one.
I know that one
great.
cracked me up. I was like, "Are you dead?"
Yeah, what's going on over there? I love it. Look at her, just like dead face down.
Really funny.
I didn't know either of you were doing this until I walked out to the pool one day, and I was like, "There are mermaids in this pool," and then I went, "Oh my gosh, I know these mermaids. I know who these people are." That was pretty great.
Yeah, that was so fun. That was a thing. I got turned on to that on the Joko cruise one year, and man, it's so much fun swimming with those tails and stuff. It's a lot. It is exhausting. It's a lot of work, but it's super fun, and it's really good for like your abs and stuff. But
yeah. That's cool. I don't even know where you get such a thing. Do you have to make it, or what do you do?
No, I bought mine on Amazon. Mine was from a company called FinFun. And yeah, it's like
I love and I hate that.
They work exactly like I know, right? I mean, you can't blame them, right? Like, I mean,
it makes sense that would be the name. Sure,
if you're gonna have fun with fins, you may as well call it FinFun. I get it.
Right. And, it works just like regular swim fins, like if you're going snorkeling or something, it's just that it's like one piece instead of two. Mm-hmm. So you just have to get used to, instead of kicking your legs, you sort of, undulate your whole body like a mermaid would.
Yeah, like you do.
So it's fun.
Like you do. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
You do.
It is always great having you on. Can't wait to do this again in roughly a Earth month or so. We'll see how things go with guest schedules, but I think that's about right. Amy, I hope by then you are well within the 100% range, and that you keep feeling better soon.
Me too. I would like to. I mean, as much as like I enjoy the Kathleen Turner like After Dark version of my voice, I would like to have my regular voice back.
Well, make Chuck give you a lot of tea and stuff. Make him work for it.
There you go.
All right.
Yes.
That bum.
Thanks.
Make him work for it.
Yeah, make him work for it. I don't know what I'm saying to work for, and maybe I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. All right. Hey, Brian, one quick thing on our way out the door. We got a message from Anon E Mouse. That's how he spells it. I kind of like that. Pretty good. He says, "Hey, Scoot and Boot, on the pre-show recently, you were talking about drowning with your CPAP. We were talking about ways you could, there's recalls and
turning the moisture level up too high in your CPAP can cause this problem, apparently.
And there was some recall from Philips or something, wasn't there a deal? Or am I thinking of something else?
No, the recall was bits of foam from the filter.
That's what it was.
Breathing into your body. Yeah.
Even worse somehow, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
It says a friend of mine was prescribed CPAP with the tech set the tech set the air pressure too high, and the first night he used it, it blew stomach acid from his stomach into his lungs, and he aspirated. He went to the hospital, and he's all fine now. There is a reason end users cannot adjust those settings. So, wow.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it's nasty.
They did show me how to get in there and adjust settings, like hooking it up to with a USB connection, but I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to do it. Nope.
Let the techs do it. I don't know if they get that. That doesn't give them. I don't know what the liability is. Like if you tweaked it yourself at home, I guess that's on you, right? You're not going to be able to
for sure
complain to the people. Well, anyway, don't aspirate on things, everybody. That's bad news.
Jeez.
Don't set them. Don't mess with things. Thank you for that, Anon E Mouse. And if you want to send in your own messages, voicecast.app/TMS is the place to do it. You can do voicemails. You can do texts. You can also email us at themorningstream@gmail.com if you so desire. All these links and everything else you need to know about this show are at frogpants.com/TMS. Brian, let's play a song and take us out.
Yeah, sure. This one's going out to another Brian. Brian, hopefully this is not too short notice. I'm hoping you can play the After Forever cover of Iron Maiden's The Evil That Men Do. I'll be headed to my yearly pinball tournament and was hoping to enjoy a good cover song on this trip. If you can't play the song, any cover of Iron Maiden's song would be fine. Sausage. Signed, Brian.
Nice. Should we do a sausage for him? We may as well.
Oh, definitely give him a sausage.
All right, here you go.
For sure.
Sausage.
Did it feel longer to you that time?
Absolutely. Every single time. It feels like something is extending that each time.
Somebody told me once I should be making different files and making them slightly longer over time so that Brian, just to mess with Brian. I haven't done it, but I could, but I haven't.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, The Evil That Men Do. So yeah, this is going out to Brian. Have fun at your pinball convention. That's going to be so cool. Pinball tournament. Hope you get to play some cool stuff like that new X-Men game that some of us got to play at Player One in Vegas.
It's a very good game.
Good time.
Yeah.
Lots to do in there. Worth paying the extra money just to play that pinball machine outside of all the free stuff at Player One. Totally worth it. Yep. This cover comes from the album Exordium, Disc 1 from 2004. Here is After Forever, The Evil That Men Do.
Those pants are made for frogging, if you know what I mean. I actually don't. Frogpants.com.
Diarrhea has a buttery smell.